Hi there and welcome to Starlight Wellness. Thank you for tuning in to my station. And today I'm doing a special report for the next 2 months. So for November and December of 2016. And today's report starts with the full supermoon in Taurus this November 14th at 22 degrees. Now this is a special full moon for the year, and it started at the new moon in Scorpio at 7 degrees. And if you watched my previous video, I described to you how the new moon in Scorpio at 7 degrees started a moon cycle with 7 and 22 until the end of December. And so I want to cover the whole next few weeks that we have upcoming until the holidays and the new year. And for this reading, I'm going to focus on the 22 degrees that is happening in the full moon in Taurus, which is also symbolic of the number 0, which is the womb of creation. And if you followed my video in the new moon in Scorpio, I described a little bit more about what the womb of creation is about and why this energy has transitioned in the past week or two and for the next following few weeks. So we started with the new moon at 7 degrees. Now we have the full moon in Taurus at 22 degrees on November 14th. Then on November 29th, we will have a new moon in Sagittarius at 7 degrees again. This is very specific at this time because we're moving into Sagittarius season. So happy birthday to all you Sagittarians out there. But collectively, the energy is shifting towards Sagittarian-like traits and themes. Sagittarius is all about higher knowledge, higher philosophy. It's the arrow and the archer shooting towards the stars. And so it's really a warrior planet and a fire sign, so it does push the energy a little bit more than other transits. However, it's a positive transit. It's a push for freedom. It's a push for truth. It's a push for higher philosophical knowledge and sharing these higher philosophies and beliefs. And so we have the sun that is moving into Sagittarius on November 21st, and it's already moved into Sagittarius in Mercury on November 12th. Mercury is a sign of communication and sharing information. And when Mercury is in Sagittarius, so as I was saying, when Mercury moves into Sagittarius, it's all about communicating our philosophical beliefs, about expressing truth and expressing in a high consciousness or a high academic manner. That's what Sagittarian energy is all about at a very higher level. So this transition is got a lot of Sagittarius influence. We have the sun in Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius, and then the new moon on November 29th will be at 7 degrees in Sagittarius. And so this transit that we started with the new moon in Scorpio, really digging deep from the bottom, creating our life force all the way to the top, a rainbow body or a chakra aligned body, is now coming through and being expressed through our communication and coming through higher philosophical knowledge. And so the full moon on December 13th will be at 22 degrees in Gemini. And Gemini is the ruler of Mercury. It's the ruler of communication. Gemini rules communication. And so these higher levels of awareness, or these higher truths, are going to be brought to light with Sagittarius, and then they're going to be communicated by the full moon in Gemini on December 13th. And then finally, we have the 7 degrees new moon in Capricorn. With this Capricorn energy, at the end of December, it's really about bringing all this energy down to earth, because Capricorn is an earth sign. It's about structures, about bringing about the principles and practices into everyday life. And so all these higher truths, these new perceptions, this new information that we will be sharing and expressing with the Gemini and Sagittarius is then going to be brought in at the end of the month. And at the same time, at the end of December, on December 29th, we have Uranus that will be moving direct in Aries. So when we have Uranus moving direct by the end of December in Aries, Aries, again, is a fire sign. It's about leadership. It's about taking action. Uranus is about change. It's about, revolution to almost an extent. It's about really creating the changes that we want. And so when it moves direct in Aries, we have this energy of really creating the changes we want, really full speed ahead, making the changes that need to occur after all this philosophical talk and all this dialogue and debate with the Gemini and the Sagittarius. It's then going to be brought down to earth, and action is going to be taking place by the end of December. So we have some great news ahead. Another really important transit during this time is that Neptune and Chiron, which are in Pisces, are going to move direct, and they're going to move direct in Pisces. And what does that mean? That means that, pardon me, my dog wants to get out. So that means that the illusions, these illusions we've told ourselves, or these untruths, things that aren't grounded in truth, things that, we're hazy about, or we don't know how to make a decision, they're going to come to light. Whatever we may be confused about, we will receive new information. So we have a very potent supermoon in Taurus that started with the new moon in Scorpio this month of November 2016. And I would recommend at this time to really do 3 important things based on the astrological changes that are going on right now, and on the astrology that I've been presenting this whole year in my videos. I would recommend to do 3 things, and I'm going to reiterate them. The first is to look at things like a tabula rasa, make decisions without preconceived notions, without judgments, without biases, being really objective during this time. Secondly, is to be very present. So when you're present, when you're making decisions from the present moment, you have a tabula rasa approach. Complete voidness, nothingness, no ego in our decisions. Just focusing on the information that we have presented to us in the now moment. And then finally is respecting the free will choice of others. Knowing that we each individual are unique, and that each of us solely knows our own purpose. So we each have a unique approach, a unique perspective that needs to be heard, right? We have the legal tenet of a right to be heard, and there's a reason for that. The reason is because each one of us has a piece to the puzzle, a piece to the truth. And so that's why we need to respect the free will choice of each and every individual. So in my past videos, the 4 blood moons, presence in the present, and the importance of free will choice in 2016, I describe a little bit more about that, so you can go back and Hello, welcome back to your inner child card reading with Isha and Mark Leonard for the supermoon in Taurus at 22 degrees. We're going to be doing the spiral staircase to heaven. I'm also going to be using the Magical Mermaids and Dolphins deck by Doreen Virtue. As you can see, we have a beautiful full moon here and this goddess feminine energy of the mermaid to help us with the reading. So as always, I've prayed over the deck and meditated, asking for the highest blessing and divine will through the Holy Spirit to provide us all the necessary blessings that we need for the month of November and December during the transit we have upcoming. So I ask for the highest beings of light and love to come in and to give us some guidance on what we need to do next and what this 22 degrees means for our healing, for healing our feminine side, and what is to come. So here's the first card I'm guided to bring up. It's the Yellow Brick Road. Just gonna keep shuffling. Looks like this card wants to come up, which is the 9 of Wands. So this is the first 7 degrees. This is going to be about the new moon in Scorpio at 7 degrees that happened on October 31st. Looks like this card wants to come up. This is the Guide of Wands. Let's get another card here. Oh, this one here, which is Little Red Cap, Little Red Riding Hood. And we got 3 more. So each of the 7 cards represent our 7 chakras. So all of the chakras that we have to help the healing in our rainbow body. Oh, and beautiful, we get Archangel Michael again with the Guardian of Swords, which is a major arcana. And this card is popping up too. Oh, and we got the Child of Swords again with Pinocchio. That came up in the last reading, so that's very congruent with the new moon in Scorpio reading that I provided a few weeks ago. And we got one more card. Looks like that one's kind of picking up at the top. So what is this one? The Earth Child again, which is so beautiful. So this is the first set of reading for the spiritual staircase. And if I go back to the book, we have here the first line of 7 cards is about our physical unfoldment. The second one will be the emotional, and the third is our mental unfoldment. So in the first 7 degrees, we have the Yellow Brick Road, the 9 of Wands, the Guide of Wands. We've got the Yellow Brick Road here twice, so that's very symbolic. The Red Cap, which is a major arcana. Another major arcana, which is the Guardian of Swords. And the Child of Swords here, and the Earth Child, as you can see. So what does this mean for our physical body? Basically, what I see here in the deck is that we are walking down the yellow brick road. We have the Guide of Wands. So there is someone guiding us down this road. As you can see, we have all these little munchkins running down the road to their final destination, or the castle, which is really beautiful. So on our physical level, we are being guided. We also have the Nine of Wands. Wands represent creativity, represent passion, represents our soul passion. So the fact that we have the 9 come up here again is incredible, because we're in a 9 universal year and we're moving into the Sagittarius Sun, Mercury, and new moon in at the end of November. Will be in Sagittarius at 7 degrees. So the 9 is beautiful to have in this reading, because we see that it's guiding us. It's opening the gate and it's guiding us forward. And so what it appears to be happening is that we are like the Little Red Riding Hood. You see the yellow brick road here again to grandmother's house. And Red Riding Hood, the story about her is all about overcoming the fear of the big bad wolf. And she wears the color red, and she's pure, and she gets guidance from going to her grandmother's house. So this is really significant. So in terms of our physical body, Little Red Riding Hood is really symbolic of the divine feminine, the return to the divine wisdom from our maternal roots, from the grandmother. So it's really bringing in some ancestral behaviors that our body is manifesting now in physical form, but it's a positive transition. The little red cap is symbolic of the Fool in the tarot, and it's ruled by Uranus. So the Fool is all about taking a leap of faith. And so this is asking us to know that if we take a leap of faith, that any physical body changes we have or that we're undergoing currently are coming from our ancestral maternal patterns that are trying to evolve. And so we have the Guardian of Swords here as well, which is Archangel Michael, telling us that he's helping us with our physical bodies to heal and transition over the next few weeks. Some people might feel like they're ill. As you can see, he's carrying some soldier here. So you might feel like you're feeling ill, or you might come down with the flu, or you might develop some form of depression, but know that it's temporary and it's just an adjustment period, and that Archangel Michael is here to help us with our physical body. And the Child of Swords is just a reminder, I'm getting, that to look ourselves in the mirror and knowing that our body is a beautiful miracle of creation. We all came from the womb of creation. And so we all are being asked to humble ourselves, knowing that our physical body can be vulnerable, that we all have vulnerabilities. And this is why I think this card came up. And then, which is so beautiful for the final card in this 7-degree spread of our physical unfoldment during this time, is the Earth Child. And the Earth Child is all about developing intuition It's basically like a baby being reborn. It's like a rebirth happening of our physical body. So our DNA structure may even change. They say that every 7 years, all our cells become new. Old one dies and our whole body is restructured. So over the next few weeks, this is kind of a similar situation that's happening to us on a spiritual 5D level. But on a 3D level, on our physical bodies, we may be manifesting some sort of illness or uncomfortability. But this is here a reminder that there's a light at the end of the tunnel through this process, which I think is really beautiful. And I wanted to read the book about the Earth Child. And it says here, when this card appears in your reading, powerful and divine influences are gestating within your aura. Embrace them with an open mind. Remember how protected and nurtured you are by invisible helpers, guides, and teachers. And hence why we have Archangel Michael's card, the Guardian of Swords. Experience the universal harmony emanating from the sun, the sacred nucleus of the solar system, and become the rhythmic beating of your own heart, a radiant center of your body. And so the yellow brick road is symbolic of the sun. As you can see at the end of the card, there is the sun there. So we are being helped through the sun. The solar energy is really helping us transition right now. And it goes on to say, the ancient saying, as above, so below, is true, for cosmic wisdom is encoded in your DNA and cells. Most of all, let the sense of childlike wonder fill your life. See with new eyes. Touch the world as if for the first time. Summon courage for the rites of initiation that lie ahead. And I think that's a really beautiful description of our physical unfoldment during this time. I am going to do another 2 spreads. And I think it's really a rebirthing time to see from a new perspective. This is why we have Neptune and Chiron that are moving direct to see with new eyes, like for the first time, like a baby, which I think is beautiful. And I think this is why we have Pinocchio here telling us to look in the mirror, to see with new eyes, to see from a new perspective. That's also the Sagittarius energy that I explain in the astrology part of this report.